All I wanna do is make you proud of me. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. Yeah, I don't wanna love nobody. And the church saying, come on. Jesus loving you. It sounds crazy, don't it? And I know it's so to me. Let me tell you what it means. More than less of me. Cause I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I really mean it this time. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. So we can have a little praise and worship over on TikTok because they allow it. Now, some of this on Facebook might not come up. So you can play your music on TikTok. You can have your praise and worship. I can't sing it. I know that. I be trying though. He was so good. You don't know that's not what superheroes do. No real life makes my heart beat. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. You're the savior. And I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you. I don't wanna love nobody but you.
I was 4 years old. I was diagnosed with cancer. While giving birth to my son,
Like this. We just got a few minutes.
I know that God, my God is good.
Y'all know Allah is so good. He's so good. He's so good. Allah is so good. Run me out of darkness. God is good. Know that He saved my soul. God is good. Save my soul. God is good. This song takes me like it just reminds me of my grandma. Save my soul, and then He brought me out. God is good. God my every footstep. He'll guide your every footstep. If you let Him. God my every footstep. Yes. He'll guide your every footstep. He saved your soul. Brought me out of darkness. God is good. We got 1 minute to start. He put food on my table. Yes, He did. He did. He did. He put food on my table. God is good. I said He put food on my table. Shoes on my feet. Got my every footstep. Jesus saved my soul. And then He brought me out of darkness. God is good. Islam is Islam is Islam. All meetings are to be open and closed properly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Can we all stand as we recite our Moorish American prayer? We're going to turn to the east as going within. We put up 5 fingers on the left, 2 on the right. With our heels touching one another, repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali, and Islam. Islam, Islam, Islam. I would like to first rise and give the highest praises to our Father God Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Also, Allah, the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Islam. I would like to rise and give holy high honors to our illustrious and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who brought us this message of love. I would like to rise and give honors to all the divine prophets that were brought before us: Buddha, Confucius, Jesus, etc., etc. Because the spirit lives, it continues. So I want to give honors to all the divine prophets that were brought before us and for all their wonderful works that they brought unto us. I would like to give honors to the forerunner to our prophet, and that is our brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey Bay, which said, "The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier than them both." Marcus Garvey says so many great things that would save us from ourselves also. So he paved the way for our prophet to bring us this message of love. Islam, I would like to rise and give honors to all the grand sheiks, sheikesses, grand sheikesses, grand governors, heads of states, all throughout this Moorish movement. I give honors to you all for your great work and just for keeping this movement going. I give honors to you. I give honors to the elders for just standing on your truth and continuing down this path that I'm sure was way, way worse for Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But I give honors to you for continuing the work and just continuing to do it without, even though there's so much, um, how can you say it? It could be a lot of obstacles in front of you. You all have still helped hold this movement together. And so I honor each and every one of you for that today and any other day, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have it. It would have been gone and we would have never knew that this was here. So I'm grateful for the elders. I'm grateful for my ancestors. I want to give honors to my ancestors for just guiding me and allowing me to come this way, Islam. So I want to give honors to all of that. I give honors to each and every one of you that are here today, because you could be anywhere but you're here. So Islam to that also. um yes, so that's my honors, and now we got to do some house cleaning. So we have to do the recitation to our divine constitution and bylaws. Place your right hand over your heart if you could, while I do the recitation to the laws. Salvation, Allah, unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God, Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Islam. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and partial of the government and must live the life accordingly. Islam. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and partial of this government, of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or excuse me. We're going to start over on Act 6. My apologies. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father God, Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder, the Moorish American Prayer, the Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Drew Ali, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam. Now for the recitation for the additional laws for Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh is the governing head of our temple. All business of said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali before being acted upon by any member. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the member to sacrifice finance, that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend their ADAP meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. As I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his five senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6, with us all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. I miss you too. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7, all members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of uplifting a fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah. Islam, 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 Islam. I miss you too. I love you too. I hope I get to see you soon. Maybe a lunch date or something. My sister Zen614 over here on Instagram. Love her, an amazing Reiki specialist. If I'm saying it right, it's my Reiki, but she's amazing. If you ever need someone that does Reiki, reach out to my girl. So today, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to each and every one of you. We are here for the Guiders of the Nation Sunday School, because out from your Sunday school comes the Guiders of the Nation. Islam, Islam. And I'm trusting we'll have, yes, we need to do that again. Call me. Yes, I will. Reiki. It's Reiki, y'all. Reiki. I said it right. Yes, Islam. She's a great Reiki specialist. Yes, we're going to go in today. So Friday, we talked about resurrection. And I talked about how we talked about resurrection, talking about how you still get instructions from the prophet. Like it says in our Act 1, the Grand Sheikh and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the prophet. You might ask how you get assistance from the prophet. Spiritual. This is a spirit. So spirit is always here. It doesn't die. It just transforms. So in all cases, he's been here. He's never went anywhere. The spirit lives. Spirit lives. It continues. It continues to go. I always reference back to a movie called Fallen. If you've never seen the movie with Denzel Washington, Fallen was a movie back in the 90s. And it showed where, like, even watching how people touch you, how they can leave their energy, how the spirit from them, that evil spirit could go from them to you. And it was going all throughout till eventually it reached the cat. And at the end, the cat had the spirit because it was in Denzel, but then Denzel touches the cat before he transcends away. And that spirit continues into this cat. So if you've never seen that, go check that movie out. So when we talk about resurrection, spirit lives, it continues, just transforms. So we have Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder. We have the reincarnated prophet. And we et cetera, because we honor all prophets over here in the Moorish Science Temple of America. So just because you don't see the body or the form does not mean the energy is not still there. The energy still lives. The energy still goes. So even when I talked about that on Friday, I talked about how in the Bible, in Revelations, John wrote the churches. John wrote the 7 churches. And the 7 churches was on a mail route. Well, when you look at the reincarnated prophet of Brother John Givens ill. His name was John, number one. And he taught Islam. How do I connect with the StreamYard? Good question. I think I can get you to come up here. Hold on. What's going on? How do I know it comes up. Hold on, let me see. Hold on, V. I know there's some way I get you up here. Let's see. Let's see how I get you up here. It's some way you come up here. Invite guests. No, that's not it. If you click, did you click on the link? If you clicked on the link, let's see. Excuse me, y'all. I'm trying to get her up here because she's going to be assisting with Sunday school today. But I'm not understanding why it's not letting you up here. And let me see. Settings. Stream info. Let's see. No, layout. Oh, that's where I got to go to. Excuse me. We're going to hope I kicked me up. You picking up. We can try next cycle. You created an account and still didn't let you come on? It's supposed to let you up here though. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see how it's doing this. Done. Oh, that's probably why, because I didn't put that up. So now you should be able to come up, V. Hold on, Islam. You should be able to come up now. Let's see. Well, I thought you were. Yeah, you were supposed to be able to come up. Y'all, this is like, it's so bad that we when I do this, it just seems like it does it. I don't know how I got it to do it so much easier before. It was none of this. I don't know what's going on with this StreamYard. It just seems as if, okay, we'll try it next time. But anyway, hopefully she can get up here because I did want her to come on. Or Bashira, if you can come to TikTok, it's probably even easier for you to come to TikTok. And I could get you on over there because I'm not sure what's going on with StreamYard at this moment. But if you could come over to TikTok, it'll probably be easier for me to get you on the screen over here and they can still hear you too. Okay, so anyway, we talked about that. And so John's Givens ill was his mechanic. He was his chauffeur. So he taught from the Prophet was out of form in 1929. And John Givens ill taught from 1929 to 1945. And so, with that being said, his name being John, we always learned through signs and symbols, y'all. It was never that the words were necessarily there at first. We always knew signs and symbols. So, when I look at it, John in Revelation sending mail through the mail teaching the churches. And probably some in person too. Well, John Givens ill did the same thing. He taught through the mail. He sent letters. Letters are important. Letters are important to write to your heads. Letters are important to write to your ancestors. Letters are important to write to your elders. Letters are important to write to yourself. Being a person, I have taken well, I'm a chakra instructor. I've taken courses, many of them on it. So I finally achieved and received my instructor's certificate for chakras, right? And even with that, Like we had to sit and write letters to ourselves, letters of forgiveness, certain homework we had to do, letter of forgiveness to those that hurt us, no matter who they were, even if we didn't want to forgive them for real, but we wrote these letters of forgiveness to ourselves, to those that hurt us, to our family members, everyone, right? And a lot came out of it. Some things that you don't even realize you're dealing with were in these letters. And so the teacher would take our letters. We didn't get, we just fold them up, put them away. She takes them and does whatever, burn them, whatever, but to get rid of whatever we need to get rid of, right? So I remember my first letters were so long. I had about 10, 12 of them. I was just writing. Sometimes you don't even realize how much you're writing. But to get it out and really going back and reading them, I was like, wow, I didn't even know I was dealing with this still. Wow, I didn't even know I was still holding on to that. And so it helped. So letters help. Like writing letters are good things. We've gotten away from that because we have got so close. We've gotten so used to this typing thing and these screens that we've gotten away from writing. And that pen holds power. As Garvey says, the pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier than them both. So that pen holds power. I spoke about that pen even last cycle, well, last Sunday, when I spoke about the pen and being back home in Colorado and going into these different places, these law libraries and places like that, and just watching how with the pen, how we got so many times with this pen. So writing is important, and we need to get back to that and teaching our children that, the fundamentals of writing and why that's so important. It gives you the strength, it builds up the muscles in your hands so you can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. So it does these things for you, right? So there was a letter written, and I'm going to read it again because I like going over these letters. We use the hammer in the Moorish Science Temple of America. We use many tools. The hammer is one of them, though, that we really use. It's the main one because we have to make it pound it in until it's a part of every part of you. Islam, brother, Islam. Pound it in until it is a part of you. Every part of you, though. Not just some parts of you, every part of you. So this is a historical letter. 447 East 40th Street, Chicago, Illinois, March 8th, 1935, June 14th, 1935. Copied from letters to Brother R. Eagleston Ill and Sister O. St. Clair Ill. Continue to believe and trust me for my words. I have done a great work for you all. Still, I am going to do greater work for you all. I brought you all your nationality and name. The forefathers of the Moorish Americans had a name and a nationality. But in order to separate them from the achievements of their fathers, a name was given them which had no connection whatsoever with the founders of civilization. What is those names that were given? Black, Negro, colored, Ethiopian, African American, now non-binary. I'm going to just keep going because they're going to keep throwing labels and names at you that delude you to slavery. But you had a name and they took it from you. So you would separate from the achievements of your fathers, your forefathers and your foremothers. Without a doubt or contradiction, we are still our forefathers and our foremothers. Still there, still hold the spirit of them in us. That's why I say spirit don't die. Just transforms. It's just energy that continues and continues. It says man don't die. We are a part of Allah. Islam, you all have proof now that you are not Negro, Black, colored, or Ethiopian because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. In the deliberation of nations, no consideration is given to a people who are not of a nation. So they don't even consider you. If you ain't, I'm Black and I'm proud, that's not a nation. They're not considering you. They're not considering you at all, for real. Black, Negro, colored, African American, Ethiopia, they're not considering it. That's not of a nation. The European took the birthright away from the people whom they forced under bondage. They were not slaves. They were bound free men, excuse me. The subsequent generation who followed them in bondage were slaves because their minds had been subjugated to a European psychology. So when saying that, it was over in 1865. This is where I'm gonna say this too. Grand Sheikah Sister Sheila Seabreeze was just on the Moorish Sense channel where she broke these things down. And when I say I was in here last night, because I just seen it last night, I was in here hollering and like having a true praise ceremony with myself. She went in and she was giving it. She was giving it. If it ended in 1865, what's going on? The prophet didn't come to the 1920s. We still dealing with the same thing. We're still dealing with the same thing. They took your birthright away. Took all of our birthrights away. We were not slaves. We were bound free men. The subsequent generation who followed them in bondage were slaves because their minds, even though the chains came off of here, legs, arms, neck, it went straight to the brain and still there today in 2024. Islam is still there today in 2024. They were separated from the illustrious history of their forefathers who were the founders of civilization. It is a blessing for a believer to receive a few lines from I, the prophet. This is Prophet Noble Drew Ali reincarnated. But even from the energy of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder. Energy don't die, y'all. Energy don't die. It continues. So Sister Sheila broke down not only that, like we're still in this mind state of slavery in 2024. We're still there. We have not released it. We have not let go. We're still caught up in it because we still delude to the names that put us in bondage to them. They show what black meant. You can look it up and Google it and go all the way down. How does black have that many definitions? Many definitions. If you keep on going, how does it have that? Many definitions. I mean, it got threatening. It has also. Why would you want to call yourself these things that delude to slavery? Why would you want to call yourself these names? So maybe we could get someone to come on here and can look up that for me because I'm running 3 things at one time. So maybe someone will come in and could throw the definition up or put it in the chat of what the definition is. If you could copy and paste it from out of Google onto the chat, that would be great. Just a little help would be nice. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so when looking at that, and I was just like, wow, all them different definitions to the so-called black person. How degrading, how demeaning, and how we continue to just let this go on. Like, oh well, yeah, that me. And then continue to vote for our own demise. Continue to run for our own demise in this thing. Right? So I want to talk about something. Right here, I'm going to give this to you. This is an amazing book. Baba Kaba Hiawatha, Spirituality Before Religion. Before Religions. A great, great read. I'm still reading this book, but it's so good. It has so much in it. I'm always going back to see what else. So there's a insert in here I want to talk about. And this is where we can understand what transformation is, and we can understand what this is all about. This can even prove to you how spirit don't die. The cocoon is created by the caterpillar, where it will transform into a butterfly. The caterpillar's ability to become a butterfly is determined by the spinning of the chrysalis, or the cocoon. The strength and vitality of the chrysalis is determined by the life of the caterpillar. From its birth, it is important for the caterpillar to eat the proper leaves. The caterpillar depends on the health of the green plants to give it the ability to spin a strong cocoon. Within the cocoon, the caterpillar transpirates into a butterfly. He transpires or transpirates. It just transfers into a butterfly. So from being an earth-dwelling caterpillar eating leaves, it becomes a flight-bound butterfly eating nectar from plants. Imagine these ancient Africans observing this event in nature. It is phenomenal analogy for what happens to humans before, during, and after life. From being a bipedal walker on the earth, humans become conscious by thinking truth, speaking truth, and doing truth. Caterpillar eating leaves. Upon death, the human transforms into the Ba bird, the soul. The Ba is the soul, right? And flies back into the heavens to live with the creator of all and the ancestors, butterfly eating nectar. This happens with us. This is the way we transform too. But we have to transform into our truth. We have to we have to we have to start standing in our truth, being the truth. We keep saying we want change, we need change, 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 change. Well, we must be the change. We can't accept change and be thinking it's going to change or somebody's going to come change it for us, because they're not. I specifically said that Jesus, when he was put up on that cross, it wasn't for your sins. He was coming to save you from your sins, and you didn't listen. And so his own people put him up there because they weren't listening to the message he was bringing to get them out of even the mental slavery at that time, or whatever hand was on them at that time. Whatever yoke and law was on them at that time, he was coming to save them from out of that. Change their mindsets so they can unfold into their true selves. And no one even listened then. And we still here in 2024, delivering the same message that was delivered 2,000 years ago, and so forth. And we're still in it. And we still want to complain about what's not changing because we think that man is coming to change something for us. Man ain't coming to do nothing for y'all. You have to make the change. You have to be the change you want to see. It just is not. And this gives all instructions to what that is. He said, I brought you everything to save a nation. Now save yourself. Save yourself. But saving yourself takes studying yourself. Because in order to know yourself, know thyself and Allah. So you got to know thyself first. So I know God, how? If you don't know you, you have to first know you to even know Allah. Because man and Allah are one. So there's no way that you can know Allah if you haven't even tapped into that, to know self. And be what you know, if that's what you know. If you know yourself for real, then be what you know, because self should be Allah self. So be what you know. I want to talk about the unity part, because that, even with that, as resurrection, there's a unity that goes on within you. The unity that lives within you. You must unify you too. Like I said, we always want to look for other people to do this for us. But we can't. We have to do the work. This is taking us to do the work, to free ourselves from the mental slavery that we're still a part of. Islam. So I want to come out of the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, Holy Instructions of Unity, chapter 26. The gifts of understanding are the treasures of Allah, and he appointed to everyone his portion, in what measure seemeth good unto himself. So he gives each one of us our portion. That's why it takes each one of us. Not one person. One person don't have all the answers. They don't. Even though they may want to, they don't. Still takes a team. That's why he gives the angels charge, because he even knows his team got to get out and do the things that need to be done. Teamwork makes the dream work. We know this. So each one of us are appointed our portion. And we should be able to bring our portion to the table without being ostracized about the portion that Allah chose to give us. Because that's how you know you're speaking against. How do you know the relationship of that person and Allah? How do you know the messages that were given to them? For you to ostracize them and downplay them and dismiss their whatever they may be saying. Your relationship is your relationship. You got your portion. Now, maybe bringing that portion with some kind of humble pie to yourself, some nobleness. Bring that portion. Everyone bringing a portion. And we can sit and get along. This is why conventions are important. These are why these are meetings. These are meetings. Because we're supposed to be meeting of the minds. We're supposed to be coming together and building, breaking bread with one another, making sure that our children and us know what our civic duty is to ourselves and to our nation. Because it's not about what your nation can do for you. What can you do for your nation? What are you doing? What work are you putting in? Are you just sitting back waiting for all the hard work to be done, and then you want to show up and show your face and say, "Oh, here I am"? Nah, because you still gonna have to do the work. Everyone is appointed their portion. In what measure seemeth good unto himself. So sometimes when you ain't even getting none, because you might not need no portion. Some people just don't need a portion because they'll just run it ragged in the streets, dismiss it, do all kind of things to it. Islam. Hath he endowed thee with wisdom? Hath he endowed you with wisdom? Hath he enlightened thy mind with the knowledge of truth? Hath he? Allah. I'm not talking about man. I'm not talking about because you went to school and got a degree. I'm not talking about that. I'm about Allah. Hath he endowed thee with wisdom? Hath he enlightened thy mind with knowledge of truth? And if so, communicated to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicated to the wise for thy own improvement. So even the wise needs it for their improvement. Because even wise people fall short. You got to communicate it to the ignorant for their instruction. Because they have no idea. And instruction starts within. Instruct so you can construct out. Islam. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate and doubteth not. He knoweth all things but his own ignorance. So the fool is obstinate and doubteth not. Like, don't doubt nothing. Everything is what it is. And he know all things. He know everything but his own ignorance. So some people that show up to just know everything all the time, there's nothing they don't know. A lot of times they don't know their own ignorance. So that's a cover-up. That's their cover-up. So they're not, so that their own ignorance is not exposed to them. But you got to remember, others can see you when you can't see yourself. Islam. The pride of emptiness is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is a part of wisdom to hear with patience their impertinence and to pity their absurdity. Yet be not puffed up in thy own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. So don't be puffed up with conceit thinking you have superior knowledge over everybody, because none of us do. I know I don't. I'm still learning this. I'm still unfolding this. Superior knowledge of what? Because it's a whole lot to learn. And will I get it all this time? Maybe not. Who knows? but a portion of it I have. Excuse me, having a flash. The wise man feeleth his imperfections and is humble. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation, but the fool peepeth in the shallow stream of his own mind, and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up and show them as pearls, and with the applause of his brethren delighteth himself. So you peeping in the shallow streams of your own mind and pleased with the pebbles which you see at the bottom of your own mind. And you bringing them up to show them as pearls with the applause of your brother. You just want to put on, you want to show off. It's a show off thing. But why? Why? It's a fool. Them pebbles probably ain't worth nothing. They just pebbles and nothing else. Islam. He boasteth of attainments and things that are of no worth. But where it is a shame to be ignorant, there he hath no understanding. Even in the path of wisdom, he toileth after folly, and shame and disappointment are the reward of his labor. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge. The improvement of the arts is his delight, and their utility to the public crowned with honor. The wise man cultivates. So you know how they'll say, it's a cult. This is why I wanted my sister up here today. It's a cult. Y'all are a cult. Well, you a cult if you just staying in the building and ain't doing no work. But you need to cultivate. It says cultivate the mind with knowledge. So cultivate. Don't just keep yourself trapped in, because then you are a cult. If you're not cultivating, if you're not doing something to help that grow, then you are that. But the wise man cultivates his mind. The ignorant is just a cult. With knowledge, the improvement of the arts is his delight, and their utility to the public crowned with honor. Nevertheless, the attainment of virtue he accounted as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of his life. The science of happiness is the study of his life. What is the science of happiness? Friday I said, who taught you how to love? Who even brought that to you? How do you know that's what that is? Who taught you that? Because from my understanding, we need to learn how to love instead of hate. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Know yourself and your Father God Allah, that you may learn to love instead of hate. Every man needs to worship under his own vine and fig tree. The uniting of Asia. We need to learn to love instead of hate. So you say you love, who taught you that? And how do you know that's what that is? Because if you truly love, you don't ask for love in return. You don't demand for it at all. Because it's just the energy that just transforms. It just should continue to flow. If that's what real love is. Love doesn't have a limit on it. You love when it's even hard to love. Islam, you love when it's even hard to love. Then we love. Anybody have any questions or comments? I mean, you know, I don't just want to be the one saying anything. I would love for someone to use their 5 senses who was able to do so. It would be so nice to hear from someone else. Anyone? Did anyone look up that black? I wish I had a dictionary in front of me, but I don't. I don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have it. So, but I want to go back to that video of Sister Sheila Seabreeze. If you guys haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's on the Moorish Sense channel on YouTube. When she broke down Abraham Lincoln, I learned that degree when I came into the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Brother John Keenan Bay gave me that degree. I never knew how to. I always was like, man, one day I'm going to be able to demonstrate on that. Never really able to find the words, but when I say I have notes all over the place, so watching her do that last night was so beautiful because it's the truth. That's why I say signs and symbols. Don't take it away just because you don't think that that's the way it went. Like, don't diss it because that's what you're thinking. You have to understand what really happened. If you go back and watching the way she breaks it down, because Brother John had taught me the way she puts it in, you guys would have to hear the way she puts it all together. Because there's no way I could go back and even attempt to do what she did last night. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. But when I say, ooh, I was in here like, yes, I'm talking about Islam to her. Because that's even showing you how that doesn't stop. Reincarnation is a mug. Resurrecting is a mug. Resurrect your mind. Start resurrecting that. You know what I'm saying? Resurrect your mind. Free your mind from this mental slavery that you just keep falling into yourself. Free your mind from it. Go and, yeah, we need to study some Abraham Lincoln some more. Because certain things did take place. But when you don't know who you are, how you know what's taking place for you? How do you know that? Because just because they look like you don't mean they doing nothing for you. I just told y'all Jesus' own people put him up on the cross. Your own people dog you out to this day. That has not changed. What makes y'all think that changed? And you just only want to look at one particular people to say that those one particular, no, with the help of your own, pop this thing off. With the help of our own, popped it off. People have done each other wrong so much over time. They have done the leaders wrong so much over time. Look at Malcolm. Look at Martin. Look at any of them. You can even look at Minister Farrakhan. Like, come on. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Like, all of them. They own people got them. No matter who might have been working behind the scenes, still shouldn't nobody be able to come and tell you to go get your own. Nobody. Because if you're, why would you hurt yourself? When I look in your eyes, when I look in the face of man, I see Allah. So why would I want to hurt Allah? Why would I want to do that? With my words, my actions, or deeds, in any way, why would I want to do that? We do it daily. We do it all the time. The prophet tells us we shouldn't hold malicious feelings against the prophet or the temple. But most people do, because you're talking about your brothers and sisters out here that are out here doing the work, that are out here making sure these temple doors are open, whether you like it or not. Like I said, one thing I could give it, as much as Moorish Americans want to talk about the church thing and not being church, well, that is. Because one thing I could give them, they don't talk about each other. They could be 2 blocks from each other. And the pastor from the church that's 2 blocks away with his own congregation going to come to this church and do a demonstration. Ain't nobody doing all that. So we need a model behind that, because they get along. They ain't bashing each other and talking down to each other, talking about what they temple ain't doing right and what this ain't. Well, if they're not doing it right, why aren't you there to be of assistance? You see, if you see your brothers and sisters in adversity, assist them. You see a sister in trouble, go to her aid. It's just most don't want to live these acts and don't want to do as the prophet said and do the instructions and live by the instructions. They think because they can apply what they want to themselves that that's what's going to free you. But I got another one coming for you. No, we are responsible for one another. And it's going to look mighty funny when that day do come. And you be thinking, oh, because you had it all together and you just did it for you and yours, that is going to save you. And no. Wrong. We are responsible for each other. So we're not supposed to speak radical against any of us. We're not supposed to speak radical against anything, not other temples, not anything. Act 4, all members while making a public speech must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. But all you see is Moors talking bad about one another. So how, if you ain't in law, you can't pick out these acts like you pick out the 10 commandments and pick out the ones that you want to deal with. You can't pick from the 42 laws of Ma'at what fits you. So you can't pick from these acts of what fits you. You must practice all of these acts. They must be your life, your everyday life. And if you don't remember them, go copy you one, put it on the wall. Read it every day so you can stay in the bounds. See, the prophet's in the middle because no one can come above them, below them, or around. You're going to get this word. You're going to get these lessons. Period. Everywhere he's placed himself. Everywhere. Divinely prepared. Divinely prepared. He was divinely prepared to bring us this message of love. So we can stand on principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We have fallen so deep into the abyss of worldliness that it's ridiculous. I told you, if this wasn't in front of you, you wouldn't know this is a glass bottle. Because everything got to be in y'all's face in order for you to believe. That's why it's hard to believe in resurrection. It's hard for you to even understand Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder, Brother Prophet, the reincarnated prophet, Allah Il, and etc., etc., etc. It's hard to understand that. But how can you honor all prophets if you don't even get resurrection? You can't, because you don't even understand how that spirit moves. It's impossible. So you can't diss the next because you just don't have the information. But maybe if you sit down and grab it, because as he says, he gives to each man a portion. Does he not? In the Holy Instructions of Unity, there's a chapter in here for everything. Unity, gratitude, misery, whatever you going through. It's a chapter in here that points on that. He said the gifts of understanding are the treasures of Allah. And he appointed to everyone his portion. Everyone. So each one of us got a portion. Nobody can give you the portion that Allah wants to give you. No one can give you that portion. Allah gives you the portion. And when he gives you the portion, you need to stand on it and study it. And what measure seemeth good unto himself. We all get this portion. We can bring these portions together, and there's the solution. But nobody wants to do the work. You want someone else to do the work, and then you come and you get the glory of it all. Like they say, you can see my glory, but you don't know my story. You can see the glory of anyone, but you don't know their story. You don't know what they go through. That's why it's not good to be praising these folks in the way that a lot of people do. Because you don't know what they go through to be where they at. You don't know what sacrifices they put on themselves to get the things, to obtain the things that they have. So in this unity piece and in this coming together, we got to stop with all that. Because it's a lot of misunderstanding going on around here. And because everybody thinks they know the truth, but everyone's in search of the truth and may not even find the truth. Because none of us really seem to know the truth. But let me tell you something, masterminds never forget. They can trace themselves back. And as much as I've been tracing myself back, no doubt about it, ain't a one person can come on here and tell me, no, that ain't true. Because first of all, you ain't researched nothing I researched about myself or my family. And maybe if you took the time to handle your own business and go pick your own weeds, maybe you can find some other things out about yourself instead of always ostracizing those that are coming with a message. Be the message you bring them. If you're going to be full of chaos, stay over there and be full of chaos. You're going to come together and we're going to build this thing and we're going to be in unity. And if you for any other thing, then stay on the other side, because it's Allah's side and we ain't concerned with the other side. In my Cat Williams voice, once again. We have to have unity. Ain't we need it? We must have unity. It's not that we have to have it like together. We must do this together. So important that we do these things. It's so important that we do um move on, even as our chapter 25 tells us, y'all. Chapter 25, the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother hath given you suck. Let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brothers. Let the bonds of affection, unite us with our brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in our Father's house. And when we separate into the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy Father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. So we have to love each other. I don't care if you are ink, a holy, or whatever you is. We have to love each other. Nowhere do I see that he told you to discount or take away anybody. Anybody. I don't see none of that. I don't see where he said, oh yeah, you the one and you got it and you the main one. No. So we need to chill with all that. If you're not sure based on these teachings of what resurrection is even about, if you go into this circle 7. You can see even in chapter, so we got chapter 17, 18, and 19, where it talks about resurrection. It talks about him being fully materialized a few times, fully materialized before Apollo and the Silent Brotherhood, appears to Claudius and Juliet on the Tiber near Rome, appears to the priest. That's like 3-4 times right there that he reappeared. What you looking for now, right? Then in 19, Jesus appears fully materialized to the Eastern sages in the palace of Prince Ravana in India. Again, to the Magian priest in Persia. 3 wise men speak in praise of the personality of the Nazarene. To be born is to be materialized. When we come into this form, this is our materialization. Materialized. We have our children. That's a rematerialize, if you ask me. The children are just you returning again. Or those ancestors returning again. Sometimes we're younger than the babies and don't even realize it. But if you really look at our way of thinking, you can tell that the babies be way smarter than us. Islam. Ravana, Prince of India, gave a feast. This is from the Divine Instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 19. My apologies. Ravana, Prince of India, gave a feast. His palace in Orissa was the place where men of thought from all the farther east were wont to teach. Ravana was the prince with whom the child Jesus went to India with when 12 years old. The feast was made in honor of the wise men of the east. Among the guests were Mengesti, Virapati, and Lamas. The 3 wise men, as I like to say. The wise men sat about the table talking about the needs of India and the world. The door unto the banquet hall was in the east. A vacant chair was at the table to the east. And as the wise men talked, a stranger entered unannounced, raising up his hands in benediction, and said, all hail. A halo rested on his head, and light, unlike the light of sun, filled all the room. And Jesus sat down in the vacant chair, and then the wise men knew it was the Jewish prophet who had come. So this incident has happened. You can read about a vacant chair in the Bible. You can read about a vacant chair in the circle 7. They talk about a vacant chair when the prophet returned, and that a vacant chair should be sitting in the temple because there should be a chair there for him to come, for that spirit to definitely fill that chair. When I would be Holy Temple of Science with Brother John, and we would come into temple, you cannot put your book. I don't, just because you don't see nobody sitting in that chair, don't you put your materials in the chair next to you. Because spirit has already came into the room to fill the chair. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the spirit of the prophet shows up 5 to 10 minutes for you even get into the meeting. The spirit has already entered the room. That's why I say they ask us not to speak too loud, talk too loud, sing too loud, read from the literature, and speak from sight. Because the spirit, the energy needs to be there. That's why it's important for the teacher, when the teacher is up at the podium, to pass his material to the next person giving their thing. Because the spirit has to be there. The teacher, you need to take his literature. He needs to hand you his literature. You should be speaking from that, because the spirit has covered this. Islam, you have to, that's what we have to understand, how this spirit works. How do you get assistance from the prophet? Through the spirit. The spirit has to touch you. Like, you don't want to, the spirit got to get in you. You know, you go to church, they say the Holy Spirit. The spirit got to get in you. Islam says. So this spirit has to come in. And so they knew that it was the Jewish prophet who come. They didn't even recognize Prophet Noble Drew Ali when he came in there in another form. And he asked, would y'all recognize me when I come back? They said, yeah, from the burns on your body. No. He was wearing a bigger shoe and a bigger collar. But nobody recognizes the king, because they be expecting somebody to show up like someone, I don't know who you looking for. Blonde hair, blue eyes. I don't know what nobody's looking for. But spirit has to be recognized. In order for you to recognize the king, you have to recognize the spirit. Because you mad because it ain't in the person you felt it should have been in. Well, that wasn't the person chosen. Because he went around to see who had the purest heart. And the only one he could really find with a clean enough heart was the brother that he decided to occupy his form. That spirit decided to occupy that form. So Jesus come again. If he's Jesus come again, how you trying to tell Prophet Noble Drew Ali how he moves? He crossed the border at will. He could be a 1 body, 2 bodies, 3 bodies, 100 bodies, 500 bodies, whatever. You can't tell the spirit what to do. That's the problem. Everybody wants to tell the spirit what to do from the flesh. And it don't work that way. It don't work that way. Sorry you didn't get the memo, but it doesn't work that way. The feast, okay, so the feast was made in honor. They had the 3 wise men. The door at the banquet hall was in the east. The vacant chair was there. And as the wise men talked, a stranger entered, right? They knew that was him when he came in. And Jesus said, behold, for I am risen from the dead. Look at my hands, my feet, and my side. The Roman soldiers pierced my hands and feet with nails. And then one pierced my heart. So I'm going to stop there. So because they said that they would notice the prophet by the burns, right? That were already there from him as a child. But no one seemed like they peeped them burns. And he must didn't really mention anything. But the Roman soldiers had pierced Jesus's hands and feet with nails. And then one pierced his heart. They put me in a tomb. And then I wrestled with the conqueror of men. I conquered death. I stamped upon him and arose, brought immortality to light, and painted on the walls of time a rainbow for the sons of men. And what I did, all men shall do. He didn't come to show you impossibilities. He came to show you the possibilities of what you will do at will. Actions of the soul. Islam at will. He crosses the border at will, and that is an action of the soul. Islam, Sister Vashira Bey. Islam. The gospel of the resurrection of the dead is not confined to Jew and Greek. The gospel of the resurrection of the dead is not confined to Jew and Greek. It is the heritage of every man of every time and clime, and I am here, a demonstrator of the power of man. Islam, I didn't say it. It's right here in the Circle 7. The gospel of the resurrection of the dead is not confined. So it ain't confined to Moore. It ain't confined to Latay. It ain't confined to nobody else. It's confined. It is the heritage of every man of every time and clime. Every man. So I don't see that's discounting nobody. Like I said, or it would be written there if it was to take away. It would already be there. Then he arose and pressed the hand of every man and of the royal host and said, behold, I am not myth made of fleeting winds. Islam, Jesus is not a myth. This spirit is not a myth, y'all, made of the fleeting winds. For I am flesh and bone and brawn, but I can cross the borderland at will. And they talked together there a long, long time. Then Jesus said, I go my way, but you shall go to all the world and teach the gospel of the omnipotence of man, the power of truth, the resurrection of the dead. You have to, we are called, we are being charged for this. I'm trying to tell y'all, we are being called in charge. Come on, it's time to go. Now you got to go. I'm going to go my way. Now you go your way and go teach this. You go your way and teach the gospel of the omnipotence of man, the power of truth, the resurrection of the dead, the resurrection of your dead mind. He who believes this gospel of the Son of Man shall never die. The dead shall live again. Then Jesus disappeared, but he had sown the seed. The words of life were spoken in Orissa, and all of India heard. The Magian priests were in the silence of the Parasopolis, and Casper and the Magian masters, who were first to greet the child of promise in the shepherd's home in Bethlehem, were with the priests. And Jesus came and sat with them. A crown of light was on his head. And when the silence ended, Casper said, a master from the royal council of the silent brotherhood is here. Let us give praise. He felt the energy. He felt this energy. He felt this spirit. This is what this was. He felt this. So he knew he was there. And all the priests and masters stood and said, all hail, what message from the royal council do you bring? And Jesus said, my brothers of the silent brotherhood, peace on earth and goodwill to men. The problem of the age has been solved. A son of man has risen from the dead, has shown that human flesh can be transformed into flesh divine. Excuse me? But we talking about the prophet ain't still here? So then you speaking against the prophet in the temple. So you holding malicious feelings against the prophet. Because you talking, nah, you think it's just you doing this work. The spirit of the prophet has to be within you. The problem of the age has been solved. A son of man has risen from the dead, has shown that human flesh can be transformed into flesh divine. So don't think just because it's me, or don't think because you see somebody and they could be strung out on drugs, all these bad things going on in their life. They were just this and that, or tyrant, or this and that. Please don't get it twisted. Because it can be transformed into flesh divine. Because just because you see something on the outside, you don't know that person's heart. You don't know how they are. They can have a heart of gold. Just because you see the man on the side of the highway and he ain't took a bath in 3-4 months. The homeless man. But they be holding more knowledge than a little bit than most people that got it going on for themselves. They more smarter than us half the time. They ain't sitting here trying to figure out. They know they free. They ain't waiting for somebody to come give them freedom papers. Islam, they're not. So that can happen, that flesh becomes flesh divine. Before the eyes of men, this flesh in which I come to you was changed with the speed of light from human flesh. And so I am the message that I bring to you. To you I come, the first of all the race to be transmuted to the image of Allah. What I have done, all men will do. What I have done, all men will do. Did not say some, he said all. And what I am, all men shall be. But Jesus said no more. In one short breath, he told the story of his mission to the sons of men. And then he disappeared. He disappeared. Whoo. The Magi said, some time ago, we read this promise, now fulfilled upon the dial plate of heaven. And then we saw this man who has just demonstrated unto us the power of man to raise from carnal flesh and blood to flesh of Allah, a babe in Bethlehem. We're children in this thing, y'all. This is why Sunday school is so important, because we are some children in this thing. And after many years, he came and sat with us in these same groves. Now, y'all remember Jesus said with many people, the thieves, courtesans, the drunkards, he sat with them all, but he taught them. He didn't sit with them to do what they were doing. He sat and taught them. Islam? He told the story of his human life, of trials, sore temptation, buffeting, and woes. He pressed along the thorny way of life till he had risen and overthrown the strongest foes of Allah and man. And he is now the only master of the human race whose flesh has been transmuted into flesh divine. He is the God-man of today, but everyone of earth shall overcome and be like him, a son of Allah. These events occurred before he was 30 years of age, and the events after he had risen from the dead. He appeared back to India, Europe, and Africa in the land of Egypt, and made himself known unto the world. The events are the 18 years which are absent in your Holy Bible. The events of John the Baptist, John taught by the Egyptian sage, the meaning of baptism and how to baptize himself. And after he was baptized, he was taken at the age of 12 years old into Africa, the land of Egypt. And there he remained in the Egyptian schools 18 years. And there he learned his duty as a forerunner of Jesus. Islam, John learned his duty, his civic duty, as the forerunner of Jesus, because that's where the civics come in. You got to learn some civics. There is a Moorish civics guide that I have been having for a long time. Let me tell y'all, first time I really read it was when I was home in Colorado not long ago, going through some things with a family member, and I started reading. And whoa, it is school. It literally is our school. It's something we should know. We should know our civic duty. We need to be in school. We need to be in these Egyptian schools and these sacred groves, and we need to be doing these things because we have a civic duty, which makes us better citizens when we live up to this civic duty. So that's why we don't separate them. Nothing's separated over here. Church and state, one. We don't separate it. We don't separate our religion from our civics. It's together. So please understand, like, we are slipping. We all need to go back to school. I need to start in the first grade on that civics guide. I need to start in the first grade with the first graders, but on an adult level. Like, the first graders can have their classroom, but I'm gonna need a first grade class at this point. So we're understanding what all this means, how this government is set up. Even that is in our Circle 7. That's why Allah said to study chapter 5, 25, 27, 28, and 29. Chapter 25 will take place in 1950. It's showing you government. It's showing you how it's set up. It's showing you what we're supposed to be doing. What is our civic duty? What is your social duties? We all have them. The prophet left us all instructions for everything. Charity, it starts at home. Social duties, what else he tell us? Gratitude, the instability of man, holy instructions for young men, holy instructions for the children, the duty of the husband. He talks about marriage with wife and man and wife. Like instructions for everybody is in here. Unity, if you need to bring unity, the obedience of children to their fathers, uh, the holy unity of the rich and poor. That's our chapter 27. Remember, I said chapter 5, 25, 27, 28, and 29. 28 is the holy instructions from the prophet, master, and servant. How to select a ruler of government. Chapter 19, 29, excuse me, chapter 29 is our government. We need to learn our civic duties straight up instead of talking about how smart we are. And we don't even have our civic duties together. To be better citizens, to teach our children better. Because our children need to be knowing this. It goes into how the police forces ran, how the fire department, like understanding how these things are put in place and how they're ran and how they're set up, the hospitals, all of these things. Your civic duties to your nation. A beggar people can never obtain anything, y'all. And we're such a beggar people. We begging instead of doing for self. That's what this is all about. You want your birthright and your vast estate back? Well, get up off your butt and do something about it. Because ain't nobody coming to give you these things. They're already given to you if you even understand who you are and how you operate. I don't know what you're waiting for or who you waiting for at this point. Because it starts inside of you. So when do you take accountability for your own self and stop thinking that somebody else is going to save you or take you with them? When we go on this judgment day, like I would tell my children, ain't got nothing, me and you ain't got nothing to do with each other. Because he going to ask me what I did. Me, personal. Ain't got nothing to do with, because I'm your mama and I did this and I was kind to this. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. I'm going to have to answer for my stuff and you going to have to answer for yours. And that's what it is. Everyone has to answer for their own. What is your accountability? What role did you play in the mess in your life? You have to start being honest with yourself on that. So you can stop pointing the finger. So then the real work starts. That's when healing comes in. When you can start saying, you know what? Yeah, me. That just said on Friday, I'm still working on Act 4 in the additional laws. Being someone that's been so in the world, hairstylist, I'm still working on Act 4. Don't say nothing against nobody. So shouldn't even be talking about celebrities. Islam, to become civilized under our divine creed as a nation, to be a part of affairs of men. We are supposed to be in the affairs of men, y'all. So that means we need to be sitting in the seats of power of those that are in power. That's the only way we can be in the affairs of men. We can run our mouth on these social media platforms all we want to, but that don't put us in the affairs of men. We literally need to get up off our butts and start running for offices, doing things like that. And our nation's supposed to be behind us. Should never be a question. Our nation should be behind us through this all. So if we're going to be a part of the affairs of men, then we need to get it together then. We need to get it together. Because if not, we just a big coat around this mug, ain't cultivating nothing. Ain't cultivating anything. Just being a cult. But we need to cultivate in order to see this thing work. We have all the manpower, brain power. If y'all, I don't know, it's kind of like we got to put y'all together like the Transformer, like Decepticon. Who's going to be the legs, the feet, the arms, the head? We got to put y'all together. Remember the whole story. Remember, you got chopped up into all them pieces and one part wasn't there. Remember. It's like putting us together, like the Decepticon Transformer. Bringing all these portions that can help build a stronger nation. Signs and symbols is what we need to look at. I know y'all look at a lot of stuff for entertainment, but signs and symbols, start looking at them. See what you can gain from that. See how you could take something from it. Because as my teacher, Brother John, used to say, when you pick something up, if you start reading it, if you don't see the profit in it, put it down. Facts. So no matter what book I have around me, no matter what I have around me, if the profit ain't a part of it or somewhere in it, I can find something relating to profit, to the prophets, or to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, or any of the words he left, any of the instructions, I don't fool with it. I'll put it down. That has not served me wrong one time. Because then when I do pick up stuff and it ain't got nothing, it's a whole bunch of confusion going on. So I don't do that. Walk the talk. Talk the walk. Be what you say you are. It's nice to dress it up, but let's be what we talking about. Because this power is so strong. And we are the force to be reckoned with. Again, honors to Sheikah Sheila Seabreeze, Grand Sheikah Sheila Seabreeze, for your amazing demonstration on this thing. Sometimes y'all need to listen to wisdom and stop always thinking because of who you is and you just know. Wisdom speaks on high, and wisdom is a woman. So sometimes you need to just sit your little tails down and listen to wisdom. Stop being so quick to ostracize somebody or put them down. Our children are being killed on these streets. Our children are being turned into things that they don't want to be. Nobody's giving them a choice to live and be who they are. Everyone's trying to shape who they are for them. That's another form of slavery, y'all. And that's what you're going to give to your children because you want to take on all this stuff? It's not cool. They should be able to be who they are naturally. Allow them to make a choice. Don't put them choices on them. Stop telling them children what they're not. It's a lie. It's a lie. Because when Allah made us in our image, that came from mother and father. It ain't said nothing about no non-binary, and I'm not trying to be funny, but it does not say that. And we are still continuing to allow these people to strip our families apart by diluting to names that got nothing to do with us being free. We keep diluting the stuff that is putting us right back in slavery. So if you don't have a nation, you are nobody. You are subjected to all the mistreatments that the people and the citizens bestow upon you. Nobody needs to come and tell you that. If you act accordingly, you ain't got to worry about all that. But you want to act a fool, so then you need this as your excuse. But if you act accordingly and act in your God way, you don't need all that. You don't need to do all that. You don't have to act like you're the one. You the main man. You the main person. And everyone should follow you. No, that ain't even what the prophet said. He wanted each state to have a temple. So he wasn't talking about follow only. He needed each state to have a temple. Y'all learn from me, open a temple. Everyone, we should have temples everywhere. No excuses. Sister Sheila Seabreeze said hers was in the house. You see, I'm in this room by myself. And I'm still going to hold a meeting. Regardless. I get it. And I've had the best teacher. Brother John, I so love you so much. Because Brother John be in class by himself. He don't care if he on that conference call by himself. If he's going to teach it, he's going to teach it and he's going to go back and listen to it. Because Allah speaks through man. So even when you're up demonstrating, go back and re-listen to the things that you said. Because you might miss something that you said was very imperative to the demonstration. So going back and hearing yourself again is important. I'm telling you, he'll be on there by himself. Be on there all by himself. Sometimes go so deep into it, fall asleep into meditation, and then come back out. And then talk about what Allah had given to him, what kind of downloads. And sometimes that's the way it's supposed to be, I'm guessing. Because it's for those that I want to hear and those that think their condition can be better. We can already see a lot of people don't even want their condition to be better. Because when you come up with information like this, no one's in tune with it. But let me throw up some drama. Let me throw up anything that got to do with drama. Let me throw up a Diddy or any of that. Whoa. I'm going to have 1,500 people ready to come and just go in. But when it comes to saving yourself, you don't want to do the work. It's so much better to blame it on somebody else. So let me go be in somebody else's business, picking somebody else's weeds out their backyard instead of worrying about my own weeds. And this is where we're at. Our children being killed, all of this, our brothers ain't standing up to do nothing. Because it ain't their children. But we're watching it every day. Not even our little boys, but our girls. Now they're out dating people that we ain't supposed to amalgamate with, and they getting chopped up into pieces. And nobody, but we want to stand behind these screens. When I just watched the Hebrew Israelites with each other on the Beltline yesterday, right here in Atlanta, demonstrating right across from, they all in the middle of it. Where we at, Moors? Where we at? We want to talk about we hold these lessons and we hold the key, but we ain't out using no key to no door. We ain't opening up nothing. We ain't loosening no key to nothing. It's so clicked up. If you ain't over here, you ain't getting this information. If you ain't over here, you ain't getting this. All them clicks, that's stupid. This is why conventions are important. So we all come together with this knowledge, and then everyone can get the knowledge. Instead of you trying to be so hard up in your ways and selfish in your ways that we ain't doing what we supposed to do for each other. But that time will come when you go, I'm telling you. Brother John said, when them FEMA cabs come, please believe there's going to be turbans and feathers in there too. Because your people will put you right back into slavery. That cover done got so short, it's up to here. That's another degree, Brother John taught. They always think they covering up some stuff. They try to cover up their feet, cover up their whole body. And as soon as they cover up their feet, the cover come down here to expose their head. And as soon as they pull the cover up over their head, it exposes their feet. And the blanket done got smaller, y'all. It's probably about this size. The whole thing's exposed because the prophet got rid of all excuses and he pulled the veil off of all these secret organizations. So you can keep trying to cover up, but it ain't helping because you keep exposing yourself. Islam, Islam, Islam. That's my tattoo lady right there. I gotta come see you. I'm gonna have to come to Kansas. But anyway, yes. This is what it's about. As I say, I'm not perfect. I'm not all the way put together. I'm still learning. I'm still unfolding. I still have my flaws. Islam, my fruits of life. Islam, fruits of life. I'm sending you that flyer for you guys to come to the Unity Day. So we got Unity Day in ATL, July the 20th. Molo type. If you and your hubby and the baby want to come out to Atlanta, July the 20th for Unity Day is to celebrate our prophet Noble Drew Ali when he passed out of form, but his spirit still lives. So we're going to continue this energy. And that's why we're having Unity Day in the ATL, July the 20th. It's a day of solutions. So we're coming together for a day of solutions so that we can take our people to where it is that they deserve to be and where they need to go. And a lot of times they're just not going because they don't know. But we all hold this energy, and each one of us, my Fruit of Islam family, I believe their Fruits of Life, they are in Texas, I want to say. But when I say that's what this is all about, we have to connect from every source. You heard him, he said, take this. I'm gonna go my way, but you go yours, and you go teach this to the people. Go teach this to the world, right? So if that's what we're to do, we're supposed to connect with each other. These social media platforms ain't here to just cause drama and chaos. They are here so that we can connect as brother and sisters and join arms and build a better nation, build a better people for us. That's what this is about. It's not about how important you may be to the next or how famous you are. That's not what none of this about. Each one of us is a celebrity, if you ask me. We've all paid our dues to do something. So as we come together, as we are together, y'all be on the lookout for the flyers. If y'all have any questions, vendors are $50. That's all I'm asking. I don't care what you're vending. $50. Just come to have a table and set yourself up and let's build with each other. As I said, the one thing I learned by putting on festivals in the conscious community with Mama Tassili is how you keep our money circulating amongst us. And those things are important because it keeps our money circulating only amongst us, even if it's for that day. Because for most of the time, when we get money in our community, it only circles a fourth of the circle around before it's up out of here. Everybody else will circle, Asians will circle 12 times, 720. Yes, it is 720 Islam. Circle around here, the Asians circle 12 times. The Amish, I'm sure that circles about 550,000 times because it never leaves their community. But ours instantly leaves. When you get paid, you can't say that it don't. Because when you get paid, the first place you're going to go is a Walmart, a Kroger, a King Super. Everything that don't look like you. So it didn't stay in your community. It didn't stay in your community. It went straight out as soon as it came to you. So these are the ways that we keep our dollars amongst each other. Dr. Daddy-O from KDKO in Colorado. I call that the Royal Family of Colorado. The only Asiatic radio station, AKA Black radio station, since I was a child. Little bitty in my mom's old school, standing up in the seat. And Dr. Daddy-O say, Black Dollar Days. And choose a day, that Black Dollar Days, that you had to go out and spend with your people. I feel that's why I get that. Like every cycle, I pick two businesses that look like me, that I know I'm going to go spend money with. I don't care if it's $3, $4. However I can support that business, I want to be able to pour into my community in some kind of way. It may not be on the biggest scale of things, but it's something. And that's what I love to do. Unity in the community. Yes, he was always about unity in the community. Always. Dr. Daddy-O, KDKO. If you don't know nothing about Dr. Daddy-O, his story ain't been told, but boy, when I tell you, that family went hard. You had blues, you had gospel Sundays, every R&B. They didn't play rap on there. Wasn't no rap music too tough, unless it was conscious rap. Like it had to be back in the Public Enemy in them days of rap. But man, when I tell you, he kept that, and I coined that, and I feel that's where I got it from because I came out of that. Dr. Daddy-O, Daddy Bruce, before I ever knew people fed people for the holidays, Daddy Bruce was doing that. Daddy Bruce owned the only Asian. I'm going to have to send you his book. Oh, Islam, really? Dr. Daddy-O has a book? Come on, Dr. Daddy-O. Dr. Daddy-O has a book. So I used to do Dr. Daddy-O's wife's hair, his daughter, so Mama, Miss Pat, Yolanda, and his granddaughter, Lindsay. Ever since like she was little, then I left and came to Atlanta. So she's a whole grown woman now, like totally grown. But to be able to be amongst those people. And as I said, being in Colorado, it was always such a great thing because I was always surrounded by us that were doing so well for ourselves. So when they would say, what, black people in Colorado? Yeah, maybe if you came, you could see a difference because it's a lot of us that got a lot of stuff going on. You would be surprised to see the type of us that are there, right? So it was beautiful to be a part of them. You know what I'm saying? And just to see even what it is now and them celebrating his birthday the other day. And Dr. Daddio is a pillar in the community for Denver, Colorado, y'all. I'm telling y'all, just an amazing person. Just dope. I mean, he's like Colorado's MLK or Hosea Williams. That's how I'm gonna put him. He's like our Hosea Williams, Islam. So yeah, I'm glad. I want to see that book. That would be so nice. I would love it, love it, love it. So yes, y'all. So, today is one of them days. I had to come on here and give this because we have to rise our thoughts to infinite wisdom. We have to stop with this finite thinking. We have to stop with just thinking so low of ourselves that we don't think high enough of ourselves to think that we deserve better or to even know that we can do better. So today's the day and now's the time. We passed the 12th hour, y'all. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. We're past the 12th hour. I want y'all to go look up that definition to black, though. Go look up the definition to black. And don't just read the first. Go all the way down and keep reading. I swear it's about 20 definitions to the word black that we call ourselves. And it's threatening. It's all of these horrible things that it has to start. You have to start asking your question after reading this definition. Why you even want to call yourself that name? Why do you want to call yourself that? Period. No matter who you are and what your background is, you ain't even gonna say I'm mixed with black and white. You don't even want to use that in that text anymore. Go look up what it means for real. Do some homework. Come back and let me know. I want to see y'all here on Friday Holy Day. I have to go back and take care of my mom, but that's not going to stop me from doing my Father's work. So I will be going live from Colorado. And if it's nice, I'm probably going to do it at the park around the corner from my mom's house. So who knows what the weather is going to be like. It snowed the last time I was there, and it snowed a lot. So I didn't really go outside because it was windy and cold, and it was crazy. But, Colorado's bipolar. And that's what happened. So I will see y'all next Friday. I'm about to close this meeting out. I'm going to give some words to the prophet of the prophet so we can continue on our day. Yes, you're there. Are you there? If you are in Colorado, yes, I will be there tomorrow. I will be there tomorrow. Islam. I will be there tomorrow. Islam. The Moorish Science Temple of America. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is the instruction. Got you. I'm coming to see you. This is the instruction from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. From your prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your profit. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temple. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. Your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Now for the divine warning by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work and in their homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Oh, my fault. Excuse me. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, my goodness. If you lose confidence in your prophet, so that means you want to come Islam. Okay, come on. If you lose confidence in your prophet, then just turn in your card and button, cease wearing your turban and fez, and return to the state where either prophet found you. If you lose confidence in your prophet, meaning if you lose confidence in the spirit. If you lose confidence in the spirit, just turn in your card and button, cease from wearing your turban and fez, and return to the state where either prophet found you as a fool and a coolie. He found all of us as fools and coolies. We could go back to that same state of mind. Islam. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the Prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The Prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their Prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the Prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Islam, Islam. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Can we all stand as we recite our Moorish American prayer? Islam. We put up 5 fingers on the left, 2 on the right, with our heels touching one another, standing on our square. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam, Islam, Islam. Remember, know thyself and thy Father God Allah. Know thyself. Know thyself. Learn thyself. If you ask what to study, I'm going to say yourself. If you come back and ask me what to study again, I'm going to say yourself. Because we got to continue to study ourselves on a constant. Islam, Islam, sis. Islam, Empress Sheikhs, Ashara, Islam, Bashira Bey, Islam, sis. Islam, Sister Leonette, Islam, my sis, Molo type. It's my girl, Islam, Islam, the fruits of life. Over here on TikTok, Islam. I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. I hope I can catch one of y'all Sunday meetings. I got to get ready to go to work, but I'm hoping I can catch some of your Sunday meetings today. Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace and love. I love each and every one of you. We got to learn to love instead of hate. I love you. Peace.